As someone who has largely championed the From Software style of games over the years, whether it's Soulsborne games themselves, Sekiro, etc., or games like them, I really do recognize and love the passion and the work that goes into this type of game, especially with From Software, who I think, in general, has actually made some of the better single player focused games, not single player only, but single player focused games of the last, I don't know, probably 2 decades in general. And so, with the announcement of things like Elden Ring, Nightreign, or even newer ones like the Duskbloods for Nintendo with the Switch 2, where you have games that are more focused on multiplayer or playing with other people than the previous games were, some of them did have it, or with the Duskbloods in particular, where it's more PvPvE, I kind of had a question arise to my mind, at least in the back of it, and I've seen a lot of other people ask it very much out loud on places like Reddit, Twitter, etc., which is kind of, is this the future of the company? Is this the future of what From Software will be? Are they moving away from single player? And are they moving away from these expansive experiences that, even if they become multiplayer expansive experiences, in the past were these worlds where you could explore them alone, sometimes you could explore them with friends, you'd discover lore, items, insane enemies, crazy hidden details, and even make up your own stories about what's going on, something that, game director Hidetaka Miyazaki wanted, where people would speculate and create their own stories about these characters and ask questions and debate with each other. Are they moving away from that and moving more towards multiplayer, which is a profitable staple of gaming at this point, and something that I and many others do engage in, but don't necessarily want From Software to focus on? Is that what their focus is going to be? But actually, Hidetaka Miyazaki himself did answer this question, reassuring pretty much everybody that they are not moving away from this type of game. So I did want to take a look at that for just a couple of minutes today. I do have a question today for you, which is, what is your favorite Souls-like or Soulsborne type of game? It doesn't have to be From Software, although I would love to hear a From Software title from you, because I'm very passionate for their style of game, but I am interested in the comments down below what you think about that and what you love about said game. Now, here's the thing. When it comes down to it, I want to clarify one thing, which is that whether it's a YouTuber, a novel writer, a film director, whatever it is, people are allowed to try new things. Now, do those new things always catch on? No. Like, there's certainly times where someone becomes known for something, they try something else, and people just aren't vibing with it. But hey, you know what? That's where passion comes in. Sometimes it's still worth it to get that thing out of your system, make something out of it, and put it out into the world for yourself and those people who will enjoy it. That said, I do think that these games will still be popular. My point isn't that Nightreign and Duskbloods are going to be duds. They're going to come out, no one's going to play them because they're not single player. But my point is, I don't know if they're necessarily for me. I like the aesthetic of them. I like the way that Nightreign looks, especially where it's kind of this alternate world of Elden Ring, essentially, in the lands between. I like the aesthetics of the Duskbloods in general, but I don't really have a huge interest in the type of game that either of them are, at least right now, for me. I prefer From Software to be single player. And so Hidetaka Miyazaki did want to address people like me and people who were a little concerned and talking about it online, and basically reassure them that they aren't exclusively shifting to online multiplayer games. Saying about Duskbloods, as previously mentioned, this is an online multiplayer title at its core, but this doesn't mean that we as a company have decided to shift to a more multiplayer-focused direction with titles going forward. Also talking about it and saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Elden Ring, is basically coming out, and saying that we still intend to actively develop single-player focused games such as this that embrace our more traditional style. And he went on to talk more about different things with the settings, the characters, talking about all of these different groups with the Duskbloods, and that it will have lore and story to it. But essentially, in general, I do think that it is a good thing that he did respond to this and actually reassure people. Now, here's the thing. Again, I want to clarify, this does not mean that From or anyone else really can't try new things. I'm all about trying new things. For me personally, I know this video isn't about me, I'm just talking, but like, I want to get into new things all the time. I want to watch new shows. I want to, honestly, at some point, write novels. I want to make my own game. Things like that, things that I'm not known for on YouTube. I'm known for a couple of channels. Most of them are very small and unknown. And so for me to sit here and say, no, you can't try new things would be extremely hypocritical. It's in my DNA to want to try them. However, I do think it's important to not lose yourself when you do try new things, or to not alienate all of the people who love you for maybe something that you're already doing, unless that thing is completely against your entire being and you've changed entirely as a person or group. And I think that that's kind of what people were worried about with From Software, is the idea of From Software is so successful. They have made such interesting titles, and even the games that they have released that people think are duds, like Dark Souls 2, is still, I truly believe, better than a lot of games out there. I'd argue most games out there. It's still better than them. Still has a more interesting world, still has more interesting secrets. And so I think people were worried about losing this with From Software. They see Elden Ring, and they see this game that is a complete game. Eventually it has an add-on, and it is coming out in a era of gaming where everything is nickeled and dimed, milked, everything is a microtransaction, everything is a live service, and there is a place for those things. I love games like Fortnite. I really love games like Marvel Rivals. I gush about games like that. But that's a very different experience from sitting down and exploring the lands between. It's a very different, it's a different experience between sitting down and going into Lordran, or going into Old Yarnum in Bloodborne, or any of these things. It's extremely different. But if they were to abandon their bread and butter and what made them so special, I think it would have truly been a big letdown, and I think it would have made people really sad. So I'm very happy to hear this. I hope you are too. I'm interested to hear your answer to the question of the day down below of what games you do or do not care for from this style of game. There are so many I still haven't checked out either. Like, if they stopped making Souls-like games, I still have things like Lords of the Fallen I haven't played enough of. I have things like The Surge I wanted to get back into. There's a lot of games like From Software, but I don't think they really capture the magic of what From Software is when taking inspiration from it. They can make their own really cool style of games, but if we were to lose From Software in this genre, I just think it would be too bad, because you can tell how amazing they are at what they do. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Interested to hear your thoughts. If you want to support this channel, we have all kinds of things. Like I said, we have a Fortnite code. We have our own store, cosmobunny.shop, as well, where we sell coasters, keychains, trays, and more from recycled paper, out of comics, manga, magazines, all kinds of things that cannot be sold because they're damaged books. We take those books, we save the paper that is actually not damaged or savable, we transform it into a new medium and create something new, and we recycle the rest. So I hope you check that out. We also have an Amazon store, all kinds of stuff down there in the description. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.